Hi K2 friends, it's Miss Amy with some ideas for an activity that we can all do this week that will get our eyes open and our minds thinking about spring and all the things that we notice in the world around us. And our activity for this week is called Spring I Spy. And Spring I Spy will give us a chance to look for things that make us realize that it's spring. The weather's changing and there's lots of activity in the world around us, and we can be observers and recorders of all those changes when we look out the window or go for a walk in our neighborhoods and our communities. So I wanted to show you a chart that I made that we can use to play Spring I Spy. And this is a great big one that I made out of a grocery bag that I cut open. And these are some things that I think I might see if I look out my window. I wrote down a robin, which is a kind of a bird. And we know a robin by the red feathers on the chest of the robin. So I might see a robin if I look out my window. I might see a blackbird or a squirrel. I might see some things blooming like a yellow flower or a red flower. And then I live in the city, we all live in the city, and sometimes when I look out my window, I see cars driving down the street. So I might see different colored cars. So I wonder how many times I might see a white car. I don't know, we'll see. And then another sign of spring, I notice when people are out walking. And so I thought, well, how many times will I see someone pushing a stroller? That was an idea that I had about something you could see when the weather's warming up and it's springtime. So I made a chart that listed all of the things that I thought I might see, and I drew pictures of the things that I might see, and then I left room next to each idea. And that is a place for me to use a pencil or a crayon or a marker and make a check mark or an X or a tally mark each time that I see that thing out my window. So maybe each day after I eat my breakfast, I'll look out the window and I'll wait for 5 minutes and see what I can see. And every time I see one of the things on my list, I can make a mark in the column next to it. And that way I'll have a record of all the things that I've seen. So this is one way that you can play I Spy in the spring when you're looking out your window. Now, some friends might be able to go out for a walk with their grown-ups. And so you can make a different chart, a smaller chart, on the go. And I made this one out of the back of an old cracker box that I was all done eating. And this is nice because it's the same idea. This one I wrote pine cone, yellow flower, flying bird. Maybe I'll see a puddle or a squirrel or a stick even longer than my own hand. Maybe I'll see a lot of sticks. So I also left room on here for where I can write my tally marks or my X's. And because it's on cardboard, I don't need a clipboard or anything. I can write right on here and it won't bend or fold. Much easier for me to take when I go on my walks. So this is something that you can use when you're on the go. And this is a good idea for something if you want to hang it up next to a window so you can look out. Because sometimes we're in our houses and we're not out for a walk. So this is a good way to notice what you see when you're looking out the window. So some other ideas for things that you might want to include are different colored flowers, like a pink or yellow flower. Maybe a tree with green leaves because that's a sign of spring. A brown bird, a robin, like I had on my big list. An acorn. Lots of squirrels are looking for things to eat, so maybe you'll see an acorn or a pine cone. Maybe you'll see someone riding a bike. Maybe you'll be someone riding a bike. I don't know. That's something you do in the spring. Someone wearing a hat. And there's our old friend the squirrel again. That makes the list a lot. So those are some ideas for items you could look for when you play Springtime I Spy. You can make a window chart to record what you see out the window. You can make a to-go chart for when you go out and about, if you go out with your grown-ups. But either way, let's keep track of what we're noticing, these different signs of spring, and we can talk about them when we have our Zoom meeting later on in the week. I hope you're all doing well. I miss you so much and look forward to seeing you when we're together. All right, take care. Bye-bye.